Today I want to talk about PTO. Yes, that is vacation and sick time in workers' compensation cases. It comes up all the time and it is a confusing topic and oftentimes people get lost, so I think it's worthwhile to touch on it. So to start, California is an at-will employment state, which means ultimately that unless you have a contract governing your employment, you can be terminated at any time. Same thing, you can actually quit at any time. No one has really any power over each other to make decisions about whether or not you have to continue working there. It's an at-will state. So that is the guiding principle that generally governs all types of employments outside of a contract. Now, within California, there are certain types of protected classes and work statuses, such as FMLA leave. And so, for example, if you're out under FMLA leave, even if you're an at-will employee, your employer is required to hold your position and cannot terminate you. Now, this is a much different thing than actually being out on workers' comp and not being protected by that class, as is whether or not you have to use vacation or sick time if you're off of work. Technically, employers are not required to hold your position. They're not required to offer you vacation time, and they're not required to give you unpaid leave. Technically, you can be off of work and your employer can terminate you. And so oftentimes employers have policies where they say, if you're out on leave and you're not being paid, we're going to let you go. Now, oftentimes employers don't actually do that because they face repercussions. You could turn around and say that that wasn't the policy with Bob from accounting or Sally from transportation and shipping, and ultimately it's a disparate treatment issue, and ultimately you can allege that that was retaliation because you're out on work comp. And so many times employers won't necessarily take action to terminate someone if they're off of work and not getting paid. Now, other times you run into employers who say you have to use vacation time or you have to use sick time, and they don't want you to collect workers' compensation benefits. So, for example, if you get hurt at work and you tell your supervisor and they say, oh, well, just go to your own doctor, take vacation time or take sick time and you'll get better and everything will be fine. No, don't do that. That's completely wrong. You should always report your injury to your employer. If they don't report it to the insurance company, you should ask for the insurance company's information and report it directly to the insurance carrier to assume that they understand what's happening with you, that they know you're off of work, and so they can actually start paying you temporary disability benefits, which is what you should actually be paid, not using your vacation time. It's a really shady tactic a lot of employers try to use to lower their insurance premiums, because if they report an injury and the insurance company has to pay, their insurance premiums go up. And so oftentimes employers will try and push it under the rug and hope no one notices so they don't have to pay more money at the end of the day. That's bad for you and good for them. But just know that if you're out off of work because of a work injury, work restrictions, or just otherwise can't work, you should be receiving temporary disability. If your employer tells you that you should be using sick or vacation time in lieu of temporary disability, they're flat out wrong. Now, if ultimately you're in a situation where you've used vacation time and you should have been paid temporary disability, you can actually go and fight for your temporary disability payments. And the vacation time that you used is not a credit towards temporary disability. And that's because vacation time is considered an accrued benefit. It's not your employer's money, it's your money. And it's the same way that if you were to quit your job or be terminated, your employer actually has to cash out your vacation time. Sick time's a little bit different because that's not an accrued benefit. It's there for you to use, and if you use it, great. If you don't, great. Your preference would be to not use sick time because that means you're good. But vacation time's a little bit different, and we'll see shady employers try and take credit for vacation time towards temporary disability, and that's not the case.